Hello, good evening in Europe, good noontime or morning on the East and West Coast in the US. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live with our top 3 orchestral live streams for this week. We're making a little bit of a change in our format. Some of our viewers were really not up for lasting through a 30-minute live stream in which we summarize everything. So we're going to start breaking it down into something more like 15 minutes, hopefully, or less. And we will start by highlighting for you the top 3 live streams of orchestral works that we found for you to enjoy this week. And it involves some really interesting pieces and also that you don't know, and also some very familiar pieces that you do know. And some top soloists and some great orchestra conductors. Now, before I go any further, let me remind you, if you're watching this video on Facebook, click on the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, please click on the subscribe button. If you're watching us on our other platforms, don't just like the video, like us. Follow or subscribe to Access Arts Live on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads, or all of them, to get more than 1,000 live performances online in 2025, most of which will be free of charge. And even those which cost you something will always cost you less than it would cost you to walk into the doors of any concert hall or performance hall on the planet. So let's get started with these top 3 live streams that we have for you. You can already see in the picture there some of the people. There's Natalie Stutzman, this terrific conductor, in the upper left-hand corner. But then there's Andres Orozco Estrada down there in the middle, and Igor Barayendev in the upper right-hand corner. The way out. Do we say east or west? Way out east, I guess, in Siberia. In Russia, I guess it's the Wild East, not the Wild West. In the U.S., it was the Wild West. Anyway, let's get down to these, and so I can tell you all about them. Now, let me give you a proper introduction for the first of them. Thursday, February 20th, the Frankfurt Radio Symphony live streams the quickly rising conductor and former contralto Natalie Stutzman, conducting Prokofiev, Tchaikovsky, and Mahler's songs with baritone Matthias Gerdner. That's right. Let me put up a separate photo just of those two, which I probably should have done before I started, and I just did not get to it. Here are these stars of that particular live stream. While I'm at it, let me get up our logo and change my name there from the default to a nice little circle. And hey, why not even open up the chat line in case anybody wants to chat with us? We'll be happy to hear from you. While I'm at it, also, I want to send out a thank you to @JazzCat on YouTube, who noticed a mistake that we made in one of our listings and pointing it out. And you're always welcome to let me know whenever I make a mistake, because that can help me not to make that mistake again in the future. Okay, so what is this concert with the Frankfurt Radio Symphony really? Well, this will be on Thursday at 8 in the evening European time, 2 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and 11 in the morning on the West Coast. So a late lunch or an early lunch, if you like. They will start with Prokofiev's overture on Hebrew themes. They will then do 6 songs from Des Knaben Wunderhorn of Mahler. I love pronouncing German, as you can tell. That means the boy's magic horn. But there are a lot more than 6 of those songs in that cycle. And then they'll do Tchaikovsky's 6th symphony, the Pathétique symphony, which is so moving. Anyway, Natalie Stutzman, who is conducting, you see in that photo of her with such energy, she was a contralto who put it all behind her. Now she says that she's 100% a conductor, doesn't feel like a singer at all anymore. And she says that conducting is as if 100 voices were singing inside me at once. So that's terrific. But it's very fortunate for Matthias Gerdner, who is singing these Mahler songs, because he has a conductor who knows what it's like to sing with an orchestra, and who as a conductor can adapt the whole situation as best as possible to him. Now, Natalie is now the music director of the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, Earlier, she was the first woman in history to lead a major American orchestra. She was principal guest conductor at the Philadelphia Orchestra from 2021 to 2024. She's been venturing out into opera, though, which is and that's, I suppose, of interest, since she's going to be conducting the accompaniment to these songs. She made a spectacular debut at the 2023 Bayreuth Festival with Wagner's Tannhäuser, which she will be reprising this summer for the 150th anniversary. No, in 2026 for the 150th anniversary of the Bayreuth Festival, with a new production of Rienzi, as well as a reprisal of the reprising of the Tannhäuser. When she made her opera debut at the Met in 2023, the New York Times declared it the coup of the year. So this is a real hot stuff conductor. Matthias Görne is a baritone, and he has picked out 6 songs from Des Knaben Wunderhorn, which I assume he feels are thematically related and appropriate, or they could simply be the best way of displaying the various qualities of his voice. We're told that he's an ideal Mahler singer because he has a great range of expression, and Mahler can ask a singer to do a lot of different kinds of things. He was born in Weimar, Germany, studied with Hans Joachim Bayer in Leipzig, and later with both Elisabeth Schwarzkopf and Dietrich Fischer-Dieskau. So he had really great training. He has performed on opera stages like the New York Met, the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden, the Teatro Real in Madrid. He's played parts like Wolfram am Fortas, Wotan in Wagner's Ring Cycle, etc. He's got a number of recordings out, and for which he's received 4 Grammy nominations, an ICMA award, a Gramophone award, the BBC Musical Magazine Vocal Award of 2017, and a Diapason d'Or artist. So the latest things he has put out are recording of Wagner arias with the Swedish Radio Symphony, and Mahler songs with the BBC Symphony. So this is you're getting somebody who's hot with recording and performing Mahler songs these days, with a conductor, Nathalie Stutzmann, a former contralto. If anybody knows how to conduct to go with a singer, it's Nathalie Stutzmann. So that's Thursday. That's the first of the 3 top live streams that we want to tell you about. We then move on to the second live stream we want to tell you about, of orchestral works. Let me pull up a photo for you. And this is a great pairing between two musical experts with Latin or Spanish related sensibilities. Friday, February 21st, the Cologne Phil plays and live streams works you likely know by Beethoven and Tchaikovsky, but also Pablo Ferrandes, the genius cellist, plays a piece you may not know, Schumann's Concerto in A minor for cello and orchestra. That's right, you'll get to hear some pieces you know, and hear a piece you don't know by the cellist that Le Figaro, let me get the quote exactly right, the Figaro described him as a new cello genius. He's a protege of Pablo Ferrandes of Anne-Sophie Mutter. We will give you the link to his webpage, and if you go to his page, there's a big quote from Anne-Sophie Mutter, which basically says, he's the greatest thing on the cello since sliced cheese. But I'm not going to quote that for you because, well, I'm just not going to do that. The conductor of this, first of all, let me give you the times. It's Friday at 8, typical European times, 8 o'clock in the evening, European time, 2 in the afternoon, late lunch on the East Coast, and 11 o'clock in the morning, early lunch on the West Coast in the U.S. The conductor is Andres Orozco Estrada. And once again, I have to stop myself. I keep getting out of order. Okay, they'll be doing Beethoven's Overture to Egmont, about the hero trying to save his country who fails, Opus 84. Schumann's, as I mentioned, this we're told it's a pearl of concerto. I don't know it. Concerto in A minor for cello and orchestra, Opus 129. That's with Pablo Ferrandez. And then Tchaikovsky's, I'm sorry, it's not his Symphony number 6. It's his Symphony number 5. I made a mistake in the announcement. Oh, my. Well, I do make mistakes, you know. As Walt Whitman once wrote in Leaves of Grass, do I contradict myself? Well, then I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes. And we're going over multitudes of live streams, let me tell you that. Anyway, so they'll start out with Egmont. They will finish with the Fifth Symphony, which the composer described as an expression of complete surrender to fate. You'll have to listen to it and figure out what that means for you. And then, but in between, you'll have Pablo Ferrandez playing that cello concerto that most people don't know of. Pablo has been around. If you pay attention to what we're telling you, if you're following us, you would know that just a few weeks ago, Pablo was live streamed by 92 New York, 92 NY, playing Beethoven and Brahms cello sonatas. That cost $25 for that stream. You get this concert with Pablo playing a cello concerto, which will be a discovery for you, for nothing. It's free of charge. How can you not tune it in? I could tell you who he's playing with. I mean, he's played with the Munich Phil, that Italian orchestra, the RAI, R-A-I, the radio orchestra there, London Phil, the Spanish National Orchestra. The list goes on, et cetera, et cetera. He's a hot property out on the circuit these days. He's going to be touring in the U.S. Both with Anne-Sophie Mutter and Martha Argerich. He's going to appear in a trio with Anne-Sophie Mutter and Martha Argerich at the Hamburg Elbphilharmonie this season. Then he's going on tour in the U.S. with Anne-Sophie Mutter, but also with he'll be playing with Janine Jansen, who's terrific, at the Vienna Musikverein and the Kammer Musik Festival in Utrecht. In other words, he's a recitalist playing all over the place. Why would you not check it out? It's free of charge. Okay, we have one more recital, and I'm going to be getting away with this in about 15 minutes' time, which is great. That's what I want to be paring this down to. But this next concert is also very interesting. All three of these live streams I'm telling you about today, these are worth checking out, and all three of them are free of charge. Okay, let me give you a proper announcement of this next third and last orchestral work we want to promote for you this week. I used to teach presentation skills to top corporate types, and one of the skills I taught them was how to do an announcement. Here I am doing announcements myself. Anyway, here it comes. It cannot be said that conductor Igor Berendev, let me start that, Berendeyev, I got to redo that. It cannot be said that conductor Igor Berendeyev shrinks from a challenge, as he proves this Sunday, February 23rd, conducting two very sad pieces, Georgian composer Gia Kancheli's Styx and Tchaikovsky's Last and Sixth Symphony. That will be at 6 o'clock in the evening, KRAT time, K-R-A-T. That means Siberia. Noon in Europe, 6 in the morning on the East Coast, late night, Saturday night, 3 a.m., over Saturday over to Sunday on the West Coast if you're up late, and 10 o'clock in the evening, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, down under in Australia. If anybody from Australia is following just now. Igor Berendeyev, he's from Moscow, but he does a lot of conducting out in Siberia with the Tomsk Phil. They describe both of these pieces as requiems, but neither of them is really a requiem. Did I get the pictures up for you? Yeah. There's Igor looking very serious. In most of his pictures, he doesn't look that serious. Anyway, that's the two of them. Now, the first piece they're doing is Gia Kancheli's Styx, which is a concerto for viola, choir, and orchestra. But it's in the form of a requiem, which Gia Kancheli wrote in memory of a couple composer friends, Aved Tertarian and Alfred Schnittke. I mentioned them not because you would know them, but in honor of them, because that's what he composed the piece for. So it should be mentioned. And their names are sung by the chorus during the piece. But he didn't use a Latin text for this. He used Georgian songs and Orthodox prayers and words like mother, father, child, grandmother, wife come out in the course of it as well. So this is really kind of unique composition. I don't know of another piece for viola, choir, and orchestra. This is one. He dedicated Styx, Kancheli did, to the man he considered the best violist of his time, Yuri Bashmet. And the soloist who's going to play in this concert is Andrei Usov, a graduate of the Moscow Conservatory viola class. He's won several prizes and competitions as a youth, and he's been a member of the Moscow Soloist Chamber Orchestra since 2007, so he's kind of grown up now. But anyway, he was a student of Yuri Bashmet, for whom this piece was created in honor of him. Kancheli was a Georgian composer, born in 1935, died a few years ago in 2019, born and died in Tbilisi. But after Glasnost came out in the 1980s under Gorbachev, he moved to, first he moved to Berlin and then to Antwerp, and lived in Belgium most of the rest of his life as composer in residence for the Royal Flemish Philharmonic. He wrote 7 symphonies. The Philadelphia Orchestra premiered one of them, his 4th symphony, way back in 1978. There are recordings of his works available on the ECM label, etc. He also wrote an opera, music for the living, wrote music for several films, all kinds of chamber music, etc. So, and that's a picture of him beside Berendeyev. That's Gia Kancheli, who I never heard of him, and I'd be surprised if you've heard of him. Anyway, that's what we have for you this week. It is now 6:18 in Europe. I'm going to be back in about 10, 12 minutes with a roundup of 3 top opera and choral works that we're also going to recommend for you this week, but we're trying to get these down to shorter live streams rather than 30 minutes, which people have trouble staying with. So ciao for now. Enjoy these live streams. And I'll be back again, as I said, at 6:30. We've got 3 terrific choral and operatic works coming up for you this week by Mozart, by Bizet, and by Wagner. So you want to hear about that. Stay tuned. Come back in about 12 minutes, and I'll be with you again. Bye.